Welcome to Comics Experiment, the show right here at the Comicstorian Podcast Network that airs every Thursday at about 3 p.m. Eastern. I sit down with Andy and Dan and we just talk about something involved in the world of comics, from philosophies to funny lists to just making fun of things. It's kind of just a generalized podcast about the world of comic book pop culture. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, G Fuel, which if you use the code right now, use the code COMICS, you can get 30% off up until about Monday. This is our weekend, Dan. So
Indeed, it finally is. We can say it's 30%, and you can actually save 30%.
Yes.
As opposed to when we say it and we go, oh, sorry, that's not this time, but next time. Anyway.
Actually, it adds 30% to their
They've been our
totals.
continued sponsor now for over a year. They're one of our favorite sponsors because they've stayed with us over a year through thick and thin, through energy and crashes.
However, our other sponsor we're a big fan of as well because they have also stuck with us. Honey. You can go to joinhoney.com/experiment. That's why I took advantage of it. Yeah. Where you can save money when you shop online. I actually used it earlier before we came to the office. So it does work. We'll tell you more about it in the middle of today's episode.
Yes. So today's episode, for those who are wondering, is going to be about the topic of the character Loki. We're going to be discussing why is MCU Loki far more popular than comic book Loki and what has made that happen. We're going to discuss some of our favorite moments from Loki's MCU history along with his comic book history, but we will be briefly discussing last night's episode. This was aired on Thursday. The first episode aired yesterday. We're not going to deep dive into the... Wednesday.
I was like, nah.
We're not going to be deep diving into a full-blown review. But if you want no spoilers at all and you are watching this in any location other than Twitch, then I highly advise checking us out next week and not sticking around this week. If you are watching us live, in about 30 minutes, we'll be kicking off our Dungeons & Dragons game. Hope to see you then. And for all of those who are sticking around and listening to our discussion, thank you so much. Andy, God of Thunder, tell us about your brother Loki.
He's kind of a dick. No. He's adopted.
You're making it worse.
Brother.
Yeah. Well, he was adopted. He says it in the MCU.
Yeah. Let's kick it off. Let's start it off with Loki in the MCU.
Yeah.
What do you think has made Loki in the MCU amazing?
Tom Hiddleston.
Yes. All right. Answer's been solved.
Thanks for watching.
He's a fantastic actor, and he really does he's really good with the material.
Yeah.
I think in the hands of a lesser actor, Loki wouldn't have been nearly as elevated as he became in the MCU.
I could see that.
Yeah, honestly.
I'll agree and disagree just because we have not seen what anyone else could have been
is
potential
true.
with
Yeah.
it. But I will say and agree with the fact that it definitely is Tom Hiddleston. And I think the big reason why I'm gonna shorten it, but we will extend as we go through so we can give you a full episode. But I think the on-screen version is so much better than the comic version is because between what would be the panels, you can see him actually emoting, acting, being Loki, whereas in the comics you go, okay, if he's not talking, he's just standing somewhere in the background. So you don't get the personality. And Tom Hiddleston has that personality. Tom Hiddleston is Loki and just personifies that character, that trickster
Loki?
god. Oh, he
Hold
is.
on.
Like
You guys have been
is
saying
Loki.
Hold on. You guys have been saying Tom Hiddleston. I'm sorry, but the best Loki is still Matt Damon.
You know what? Actually,
His wasn't bad. I'm not gonna lie.
you know what? I'll give you that one.
He's still the best portrayal of that character.
Please make a statue with my nice horns. I will. And I'm sorry about the time with the snake. It's okay. It was hilarious.
I think part of the problem with comic book Loki versus MCU Loki, to flip it on the other side, because I think we all love MCU, and I do think Tom Hiddleston, but I think there's more to it than just Tom Hiddleston's a great actor.
Okay.
We've had quite a few characters that have come out that have been great because they've had a great actor, but they haven't had the staying power of Loki.
Okay.
Ultron, for example, if we're going to go the villain route, I mean, I think it was James Spader who did the voice.
Yes.
He did an amazing job.
Sure.
I would have loved to have seen him come back in the jokey Pinocchio kind of humor. And in the comic books, Ultron returns far more than Loki does.
I don't know. Loki's around an awful lot.
Well, recently.
since the
recently.
movies.
That is true, yeah.
Because
Since
he
the
used to
movies.
not be, because he was a hardcore, just straight villain.
He was a guy of evil for the longest time.
And
yeah.
basically just like Ultron, Doom, Doc Ock, he
Yeah.
would show up when he was needed. And outside of that, he's in the background of the entire thing. Only recently have they done any kind of like character repairs to him to make him like a good character. And then that's gone on to the point where now in the current Donny Cates run, spoiler if you have not been reading that, he's not even the God of Lies anymore.
He's God of Stories.
Is that what he's officially
technically,
titled as?
he's actually titled.
I don't think I've
God
read
of
the issue
Stories.
after the Donald Blake becoming God of Lies thing, so I don't know.
He became God of Stories in his solo thing, I think.
Yeah, I
and
think he's
then
still
he
technically
became.
the God
He's
of
now the.
Well, now he's
king of-
he's king of Jotunheim now.
Jotunheim,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it is,
But I think
yeah.
he's still technically the God of Stories.
Interesting.
the God of things gets really weird when it comes to Thor mythology.
He's the God of nouns.
I know some people are going to say because of the big reveal that he was gender fluid in the show that, oh, he's popular because he's representing a group that is underrepresented. But I am going to, like, the one thing people need to remember is that's a new reveal. Loki fans know that he has done this for a while. He's been gender fluid technically for a long time. He was a woman, a child. He's old. He's the god of the All Black at one point, I think.
He birthed a half-wolf child.
No.
He's Andy. I don't even remember the story. You said he's a horse.
At one point, he becomes a horse. You know?
As you
in
do.
mythology, yeah. He does transform into a horse. Yeah.
So I don't think that's what sells it. I mean, I think along the lines, comic book fans were kind of like, Loki's Loki, and that's just what Loki does.
Gender Loki.
Now that would have been hilarious.
been
I would
funny,
have loved that. I would have loved that.
So I don't think it's that, and I don't think it's just Tom Hiddleston. I think they've just done such a great arc with him. What he reminds me of is Dragon Ball Z. So Vegeta,
Sure, totally. I can see it.
Which character?
Wait,
of the
let's
many,
see where he's
many?
going with this. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So Goku is Thor, Loki's Vegeta.
Okay.
Thor's cool and fun, but until Ragnarok, Thor didn't get any real growth,
And a terrible father.
and so is Thor.
We don't know that.
Well,
He
he's-
doesn't have any kids in the MCU.
that we know.
That we know.
of.
But Thor took 3 movies to get real progression beyond, I'm the god of thunder. Oh, I've been taken down a peg. Watch me be more powerful. This is me spinning a hammer.
Oh.
For those who can't see the live show right now.
Sure.
That's totally spinning a hammer.
Spinning a hammer.
Somebody-
Here, I'm going to spin it over you,
One
Dan.
of our editors needs to put in like a spinning hammer there. Do
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna put a hammer. I'm not that.
Don't
good.
even have it spinning, just like a clip art of a hammer that you're spinning.
Not even a PNG.
yeah, just a clip art of a hammer.
No.
But I have always found Vegeta far more interesting than Goku.
Sure.
Because he had the arc over the course of here's my introduction. I'm the Prince of not Namek, Prince of Vegeta. Isn't that the name of the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prince of Vegeta. Yeah.
You ever had a planet named after you?
And he goes from
ego-boosting.
I'm super evil to I'm teaming up with the Z Squad, and then I'm moving forward and getting progression, marrying Bulma, having the kids.
I think they're called Z Fighters, but okay.
They're the Z Squad and the Z Fighters. Depends on what.
I'm not even like a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and I know that.
Anyway.
Who's Goku?
I don't know.
Sorry, keep going.
I heard he's got a tail at some point.
That's stupid.
So anyway, it turns into just like with Loki and Thor. Thor shows up in his original movie. We get the classic Thor story. He falls to Earth. He meets Jane.
Another.
He comes back, meets the Destroyer. Second movie, fights Meleketh and what is kind of a wasted use of Meleketh.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
characters and everything. And then in Ragnarok, we finally have, hey, you've been knocked down a peg, but you don't seem to be learning.
The Lord of Thunder.
The Lord of Sparkles.
And then he finally has growth. But
Right.
Loki went from, I've started the Avengers plot and been defeated and then traveled through time and went to the TVA. Nope, that's the show.
That's the show. It's an alternate version of Loki without the annoying redemption part.
What the redemption
Yes.
part is the important bit. Because he shows up again, I believe, in the second one, Dark World, and then he shows up again in Ragnarok. And doesn't he show up in a third something else? Isn't it other than the Avengers? I thought he was in something else too.
No, because in Dark World, he's been brought back after the original Avengers movie. He's imprisoned.
Yeah.
He helps Thor and then betrays Thor.
Isn't it in Dark World where the mother dies?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that one they show in the show because I actually didn't see Dark World.
Oh.
And so that's how I found out about it.
Well, for those who don't know, Dark World, which a lot of people didn't watch, is when Loki decided to become a good guy because the one person that actually cared about Loki I believe he accidentally got her killed. in
Correct.
Dark World.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they
yeah.
say in the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the show could also be manipulating time frames. So I'm asking Andy.
No,
who saw
no,
Dark
yeah,
World.
no.
Oh, I
It
assume-
was
It
legitimate.
was an
I
accident.
thought
yeah.
the show was literally showing clips from
It
the
was.
movie.
Yeah,
It was,
Oh,
but
okay.
since they weren't doing the voiceover portions, you could very
Okay.
easily just be like, "Oh, well, you did this by mistake and join us," and
Yeah.
you know. And then they're also assuming, like, well, no one saw Dark World, so we can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
I actually like Dark World.
I don't think it was terrible. I just don't think it was like one of the better
No,
MCU
no.
movies.
Right.
But yeah, but then he took over as Odin for a little while.
Yep.
That's how we got
Yeah.
Matt Damon as Loki. And then Ragnarok is when he comes back as
And
Loki.
then Infinity War is his.
And then he dies.
Yeah,
at
he
the
finally
beginning
dies
of
in
Infinity War. Spoiler alert for a 5-year-old movie.
Is it 5?
No, it was 3 or
4.
4. Yeah, it's like 4. Yeah.
But
For
what I'm
an
saying
old
is,
movie.
we got more of a complete arc with him, as opposed to the Thor one, which was very much like superhero movie. Watch me beat things with a hammer. Superhero movie. I'm going to beat the elf with a hammer.
But
And
when
then-
I do it, I have anger issues.
And then third movie, I'm going to beat the green guy with a hammer.
No,
oh,
he
he
doesn't.
beat me back.
He doesn't have a hammer anymore at that point.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my fists.
There you go.
So I think that's why he had more of a complete arc. While in comic book text,
Well, the problem is he has a complete arc, but then he loses his arc, and then he gets his arc back, and then he loses his
that's
arc.
comic book version.
He's gone from I'm evil to I want to break my story to I'm evil to I want to break my story to I'm evil to I'm breaking
no,
my
no.
story.
There's some points where he's super evil.
That's true.
And then he's really young and joins the Young Avengers.
yes,
Oh
And then
my
young
God.
Loki meets super evil
I
Loki.
totally
and becomes
forgot about young
evil
Loki and
young
the
Loki,
Destroyer.
and then he becomes I want to break my story young adult Loki, like millennial Loki.
Yeah.
Though Loki is pretty much that Loki.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was his like he's supposed to be in like his mid-20s, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's the problem.
And-
It's sort of like the Damian Wayne thing, which is I have progression, and then we get a new writer.
right.
Yeah.
But everyone seems to love in comic book form, not in movies, because obviously Loki would win because Damian Wayne doesn't exist in the movies. Comic book format, people seem to accept Damian's going through that arc, and with Loki, no one just buys the book.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the ones that we're writing right now, Agent of Asgard, right? We're going through it, and it stated ongoing series. And I had to see why the book was canceled at 5. Now, it was because the writer left. But that wasn't my first assumption, and I'm assuming it wasn't with you either.
No, yeah.
We thought it just got canceled because it was a bad book.
That's fair.
Because that's normal with Loki.
That's fair.
I think they try to recapture the movie Loki now is the problem, and they just it's not as good as the movie Loki.
I was gonna say that I feel like Loki is one of those characters where kind of your base opinion of the character has spawned out of the movie version.
Yeah.
Whereas in your example of Damian Wayne, your opinion has spawned out of the comic version. So you don't have that because we haven't seen Damian Wayne in any of the movies yet. As far as
He's
I
been
know.
in the cartoons.
Well, besides the
and then in the
cartoon
Harley Quinn
ones.
show.
But
The
it's-
best
which
version.
that one actually
What
was
are we having the
best
sex
version.
talk, Dad?
But I feel like a lot.
I need a nemesis. That's Galford.
Anyway, I feel like it's similar to kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like before the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the Guardians weren't as interesting. They
Yeah.
didn't have those personalities.
They had their
that-
niche fan base.
They had
Yeah.
their
I'm
niche.
specifying before
Yes.
you all go to our comments.
love the Guardians
They had their niche fan base, but I feel like the
Dragon.
movie really fleshed out who that they were gonna base it around. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
went,
yeah.
people like that. Let's change the comic books towards that, as opposed to let's change the movie closer to the comic books. And I feel like that's kind of the discussion that we're having here is, in this case, the movie version has left
Informed,
such a
yeah.
impression on
Yeah.
people.
I think
that-
when you hear Loki, no one thinks comic book
No.
classic Loki or even current Loki. You think Tom Hiddleston Loki.
Yeah.
you think
that's
Tom
what it is, yeah.
Hiddleston or the writers trying to capture Tom Hiddleston
Yeah.
in their comic
When
version
you
of
say
the
Thor,
character.
I still picture comic book Thor.
Yes,
Over Chris Hemsworth. I mean,
I don't know the screenshots from Love and Thunder. He looks like comic book Thor. He's freaking huge.
Jeez.
I don't know how he gets
Talk
through the
about
door.
tree trunks of freaking
It's like that when The
arms.
Rock's like, I'm bulking up.
Yeah.
What do you mean bulking up? You're already huge.
Hell.
You can get bigger.
Holy shit.
Lord.
And you know what I think Thor and Loki probably use?
Well, I believe that they use this thing of how he got into the TV show, which was through a portal.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Honey. Honey is a free browser extension that is designed to save you money. Honey automatically scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best ones that it finds to your cart to save you money. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, ranging from tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. Honey has helped 17 million members save more than $2 billion. Just click the Apply Coupons button on the extension at checkout and watch the savings roll in. I've been using Honey every time that I shop online. Honey helped me save on my recent Walmart order by getting me free shipping. If you don't already have Honey, you could straight up be missing out on free savings. It's literally free and it installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/experiment. That's at joinhoney.com/experiment. Thanks, Honey, for supporting today's episode.
And the portal closes. So we're at the show. And we got Owen Wilson showing up looking like you know what? I don't even know where I was going.
Okay,
I don't know
before
where
we
you're
before we
going
get to
with that.
discussing the Loki show, I do want to bring up another thing. So,
Okay.
the MCU, I feel, has been taking advantage of something in general, and I think this has really helped with Loki. A lot of the characters outside of the known Avengers that they decide to put into these movies are characters that have like almost no background. Like you can say, sure, Falcon, for example, he has been around for a very long time.
Yes.
But can you name Falcon-themed storylines without being a Super Falcon fan?
And without it
Yep.
being the new Captain America story.
Yeah, he took over as Captain America.
You're right. That was a great
Boom.
storyline. It happened recently. Guardians
Prior
of the
to
Galaxy
that,
were another
no,
example
I
of that.
know.
They've existed in comics for years,
Yes.
but no one ever really did much with them outside of the Annihilation arc. And then, of course, we made the movie, and that became the comic book version. Spider-Man, no one knows who that is.
Spider who?
But, like, another one's Ant-Man, and they went with Scott Lang instead of going with Hank Pym because there's no history to work with.
Right.
And I've noticed they keep...
And luckily they just completely ignored what's his face, the other one. The one that's like turns into a villain.
Oh, what is his name? He turns into Black Ant. I know who you're talking about.
Oh, I don't even know. And the character off of the top.
O'Grady.
Exactly.
It's O'Grady. Something O'Grady.
Eric O'Grady.
Yeah, Eric O'Grady.
Yeah. I'm so thankful.
O'Sullivan
that they
O'Grady. Super Irish name.
You know what I would love if in the third movie they open it with them chasing down Eric O'Grady in the suit. He's gotten it somehow. We don't know how.
Why not? That'd be a great opening.
It's
You
just-
have no idea what's
It's
going
just
on.
Scott and Wasp
And then Black
shaking.
Hand shows back up. I'd be down. That'd be a great opening.
Yeah, and we don't even explain it. It's just
You
like,
don't explain
did
it.
Eric steal the helmet again? He did, Hank. And they're just,
Who's Eric? You don't need to know.
Eric is that guy.
Oh,
But they use a lot of characters that don't have a lot of history, or they just don't have a large fan base. You know, Spider-Man's an exception, but I mean, Iron Man, Captain America, they're going with people that you know who they are. But we always go back to their original story where Marvel said their biggest problem with pitching the Iron Man movie was everyone assumed he's a robot.
Yes.
And that's
fair.
because he wasn't well known. Captain America was always assumed to just be nothing but a flag guy, and that's that. You know what I mean? Like,
You know, his original name was Flag Guy. And they
Flag
were like,
Guy.
Let's go with Captain America instead.
What if we called him Private Flag Guy?
but I think that's what they've done also with the Loki character, because Loki in the comics is pretty much just a straight villain.
Right.
I'm actually expecting them to do a very similar thing with Doom. Because Doom is a fan base. Doom pops up. But Doom overall, other than some recent stories like Superior Iron Man, no, not Superior, what was it? Infamous Iron Man.
Oh, for a second I was like, you mean his solo series that he just got?
Yeah.
Which was actually pretty good for the record.
But Loki, I feel like they're trying to do a second thing with Loki. And like it's one of my problems with Marvel where they try to turn the bad guys into good guys. And I think the MCU is doing more of that because the bad guys don't have a lot of history. I mean, part of the reason the Joker movie got so much flack is everyone's like, we all know the Joker. What a waste of time.
Yeah.
And they all sounded like that.
What the hell?
You know, I'm pretty sure that even the reviews were like that. What the hell?
And it's just showed a guy.
Yeah. It's a little emoji.
But that's what I think is going on with Loki.
clown
I think
face
that
after.
since he's been nothing but an antagonist to Thor with very minor plot, like case in point, and Andy and I did the research on this. Lady Loki that everyone recognizes, hot Loki, Although Tom Hiddleston's hot too. So
I was gonna say, did you see him without his shirt on? Dude's been working out.
I almost
It's
feel like he read-
Asgardian leather.
It's fine as Guardian leather.
But female Loki, everyone's like, tell us a story about female Loki. Tell us a story about female Loki. Loki died, came back in Sif's body, and no one did anything with it.
And then eventually just showed up again as Loki.
That's female Loki's plot. And then there's 4 panels you said in Agents of
4
Asgard?
pages. He shifts into female form. He has the ability. Loki has the ability to change his form.
Yeah.
He can become an animal, a woman, a man, a small child, apparently.
He did that for a while.
Yeah, that one he was stuck with. I don't think that was a switch he did on purpose.
Are we the small child? That
Where
was,
he becomes like Kid Loki.
yeah,
Yeah,
Kid
what-
Loki was a time travel one.
Yeah. But
If
then
I
he was
remember
like
right,
he was
like-
like stuck like that. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
and he
I'm
was in-
taking the form
Are
of
we
a
talking
child.
about the one where he's like
I've been reading-
inside the destroyer and he's like
Yeah,
piloting
yeah.
it? Yeah, okay. Just making
I've been
sure.
reading a lot of manga recently, and this young protagonist going into battle doing that.
Good lord, this manga's good. I'm a kid now. Yeah. But yeah, he just shifts his form as needed.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they just shift their form. What's his current pronoun now?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Anyway, Loki shifts
I guess it would depend.
his.
if-
I'm just
what
going his.
form.
All right,
Yeah.
his form as needed.
Right. And so, but that's the problem with Loki. No one can ever really specify solid Loki stories. Sal brought up a good point. The Loki miniseries from the early 2000s, which is primarily Loki, got republished to tie in with Thor Ragnarok, and they renamed it Thor and Loki Blood Brothers.
Oh yeah.
And Thor's in it for like 2 panels.
Yeah, because he like captures him. That whole series was like Loki monologuing about how his story is he's evil and like they can break that if they want to. And he tries to convince Thor of this after basically imprisoning Thor and sexually assaulting Sif. Yeah. And he's like, all right, buddy, come on, we're going to be good. We're going to break our story. Yeah. And then Thor just punches him in the face really hard.
As you do.
As you do. And like, yeah.
So I think that not having a lot of I can't even think of like an event that was themed around Loki. Like the Avengers movie using him was kind of unique. Wasn't it? Like,
No,
is there?
I mean, he's popped up all the time. One of the Avengers' first fights, like as a team, was with Loki.
Right, but like I can't think of any Loki themed event. Doom had recent years.
War of
Secret
the
Wars.
Realms was Loki.
That was
Loki-ish.
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 And that was recent.
Yeah.
A lot
You know?
of them are Loki-ish, yeah. 'cause
Yeah, a lot of them
if
have
it
Loki adjacent.
if it involves the Infinity Stones, sometimes
Generally,
he's
Loki
involved,
shows up. Yeah.
I was
He's
like,
like, I
because
can
like
take
because
them
like
too.
Doom, for example, Doom had a lot to do with the original Secret Wars and the new Secret Wars. You know, Ultron literally has multiple series titled Ultron something.
Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron 2.
Rage of Ultron.
Rage of Ultron.
The Beige of Ultron. It's where you go shopping.
Galactus has a lot of things all about him trying to take over the world.
How many times is he going to come back to Earth and try to eat it? Seriously.
Isn't he a good guy right now? No.
No.
Thor brought him off and like kicked his butt and he died.
Yeah.
He did.
He did.
He did.
And then Hyperion flew through his head.
And
That's
he
the
also
other
did.
universe.
Technically,
He
it's
also
not.
did.
No, I'm sorry, but it's not the way things are supposed to be. Okay, real quick, on the Heroes Reborn thing, does anyone theorize that Jason Aaron changed it the last second to make it Mephisto after WandaVision? Oh, like it was
I
something
would not be
else.
surprised on this.
He's like, you know what, guys? I got you.
He was actually using
Mephisto.
Belasco before, and he was like, Belasco, all praise Belasco. I'm sorry, people love what with WandaVision? Mephisto. In Mephisto we trust.
Perfect.
I'm gonna time. Look at how relevant I am.
And he just writes Mephisto and underlines it 3 times.
It's got to be Mephisto. Asterisk. See WandaVision fan theories.
I just picture them being like, it was coming out in April, but we had some changes to make last second on the print line.
All the writers or the artists are going back and trying to like make Mephisto in there. God damn it.
It's a good thing we didn't do much other than mention it here and there.
All right.
But yeah, that's where I think is going. I think MCU Loki's so much better because he just has a straight arc. Until we get to TVA, and now it's
Well,
going to
yeah, because his arc ended. Technically, he died.
Yeah. But Tom Hiddleston did such a good job. Because that's where my question comes down to this. He should have died, and that should have been the end of the Loki arc, and we never see Loki again. But we literally have a whole series. They loopholed a way to bring him back without bringing him back. They comic booked Loki.
Yeah, they did. Oh, God. And this time it worked. Because in comic books, it kind of gets annoying. But with Tom Hiddleston as Loki, it's awesome.
Well, I got the email from Marvel last week. Coming event in September. Death of Doctor Strange. And I went, when does Multiverse of Madness come out?
Yeah.
He ain't dying.
He coming back. He coming back.
He ain't dying.
He'll be all right.
I put it up in our community tab, and I was just like, how long do you think it'll stick? And my favorite comment is 5 minutes. Same comic. He's back.
Probably.
No, it's not even going to be same comic. It's going to be the Marvel
Same
Twitter guys tweeting something
Yeah,
out
yeah.
the day that Death of Doctor
Like,
Strange
Today,
releases.
Doctor Strange died in the comics. So anyway, here's the cover for Doctor Strange #1, due out at the same time as the movie.
I started reading X-Men 21 with the Hellfire Gala, and I couldn't help but read it going, I already know how it ends. You've already told me how this is going to end.
We know who's on the team.
I know who's on the team.
Why did I buy this book?
Anyway, back to Loki.
Yes. Not a member of the X-Men.
So So
I
generally,
would read that story.
what do you guys think about that idea, though? That the MCU's, because they were able to just tell one story with Loki, and we had the combo of that, Tom Hiddleston, and there not being a solid Loki history for people to freak out about.
I agree.
All right. So what do you guys think about the Loki show?
Here's the only thing going on in the history, though, is that the characters have history, and the real fans of the characters will follow that history and be like, oh, yeah, there's this time in the 70s when Loki, blah, 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 blah. However, the MCU in of itself reaches far beyond the comic book fans.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's what I think people latched onto with like Tom Hiddleston and Loki and things like that. Because Loki does have a history in comics, but if you don't read comics and don't care, it doesn't matter.
I feel like this is a great discussion to have for like one of our other episodes of why did the MCU succeed? Because there's more to it than just great movies.
Yeah.
'Cause some of those movies are not as spectacular as everyone says, but they're solid movies. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part of all
I think
the movies,
Transformers is better. No, I'm kidding.
I think one of the things that really makes
kidding,
characters lovable in the MCU is the humor. And I think that's why Loki is such a beloved character, is even when he's evil or doing bad things, you're like...
You're half rooting for him.
You're like, all right, when's he going to stab Thor? It's like let's do Get Help. I don't want to do Get Help. And he's like, Like, it's just that humor that really gets people... to love characters. Like, I feel like that's another reason why Scott Lang Ant-Man did so well, is the humor. Like, humor is a universal
some people
language.
point to the humor in the MCU and say that's one of the reasons they don't like it.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
because everybody's always joking.
Well, that's Marvel,
And
though.
yeah, but it's like, it's a super serious scene, but I'm going to make a joke real quick. And that's why some people say they don't like the Marvel humor. But some people, that is why they like it. Because it's not all super dour.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
and
that's
depressing.
why
that's
I
where the
love
fan base for the Zack Snyder movies came in, because they were so serious. And so
Yeah.
And then we see his cut of Justice League, and he's like, wow, you went really... I don't need 3 intros for Aquaman, man.
Yeah, you do.
Aquaman, man. That's my favorite superhero.
Who are you? Aquaman man? No way.
What's your problem?
This is Aquaman girl, my sidekick.
An Aquaman boy.
Aquaman boy.
This is Aquawoman, man. Don't ask.
We also have Aquaman dog.
Aquaman seahorse.
It's actually an otter.
We ride Aquaman seahorse into battle.
What? Anyway, but yes, one of the reasons I would say it is so popular is because of like the jokes and the quips and things.
I think humor goes farther than melodrama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
Humor
that would be
reaches
a better
farther. I
way
mean,
to say it.
CW's built most of its thing on trying to combine the two elements to almost a point where you can't tell if they're joking half the time. Mom, Dad, latest episodes. You'd get it.
I don't
Flash.
watch those.
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
God.
I don't watch those.
We're not touching on that. That's
It was so weird.
I don't want to
It
talk
was
about
so weird.
So anyway, Loki the show.
Yeah.
so good.
It was amazing.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I would say of the 3 shows so far, this has been my favorite. And we're only 1 episode in.
One thing that I really like about this, first off, I'm getting a Doctor Who vibe.
Yes,
I was like, they're turning Loki into Doctor Who, and I'm not against this.
That'd be hilarious. I would watch that.
I'm waiting for him to show up in a trench coat or the scarf at one point.
That would be
be
fun.
pretty
He just walks out of the portal like, it's warm.
You
here."
could do that too because Loki's constantly changing his form. You could have
Yeah.
a new Loki.
It'd be good. I'd dig it.
It just becomes the ongoing thing.
Yeah, he's just constantly changing his form every season. Nobody.
He's
points
going
it
through
out.
a regeneration. Yeah, it's not really that painful.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
exactly.
New
I
me.
snap my fingers and I become a new version of me.
I would love if there was a scene during this where he wears a disguise and he goes, can't you change form? Why are you wearing a disguise? Oh, yeah. I like it. It's a nice hat. Anyway.
Yeah, no, the show's great. I'm getting definitely a Doctor Who vibe. I also feel like they said this isn't based on anything in the comic books.
Yes.
But without spoiling anything majorly, when they get to the scenes and they reveal the TVA, it's like, you just added a whole other side to the MCU that...
The TVA was in the comics, though. I think Deadpool becomes
Does he?
an agent of theirs for a little while.
I wouldn't be
think.
surprised
I could be
if
wrong.
Cable's related to it.
I could see that, yeah. I like when he was bitching about the Avengers time traveling. If anybody needs to stand trial, it's the Avengers. No, they were supposed to do that.
What?
Overall, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I thought it was a really good first episode. Solid first episode.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I definitely...
I
feel
know
like,
we're not trying to talk about
I've already
full-on
made
I feel like
spoilers.
Falcon and Captain America, or Captain America and Winter Soldier, that's the... Or, you know what? Just Captain America and Bucky was a great show. But it just felt like a long movie. And WandaVision, I feel like, was a fun experiment, but it felt too much like a sitcom at times, where every episode would leave in a weird cliffhanger.
Okay.
And so far, Loki feels like that weird middle ground. It feels like I'm watching a season of Doctor Who or something, where stuff is happening in
But
the
less
individual episode,
British.
but less British. But like we're gonna progress
But still
forward.
some.
A little bit.
I mean, and for the record, I loved Captain America and Bucky, and I loved WandaVision
Yes,
and
yeah.
multiple visions.
Yeah.
Wanda and two visions in a pizza place.
It's WandaVision.
Two visions of Wanda in a pizza place.
I would watch that. As long as Ryan Reynolds was in it.
I'd watch it.
So far, apparently, Paul Bettany has not signed on for any follow-ups.
What?
Sadly.
But he's White Vision.
Also, he lied literally months ago about when he was doing.
That is true. Yeah.
It led to
never knows
most of
that
the
guy.
rumors.
Yeah.
They were like, you're not
a big
allowed to
lie.
say anything anymore.
He's like
okay?
the Tom Holland of WandaVision.
But yeah, no, I'm really digging it. So
I also like it's every Wednesday and not every Friday. I don't have to wait all.
it also works very well for my other channel, Absolutely Marvel and DC, where Sal, me, Dan, and Dylan like to review TV shows because we can watch it Wednesday and film it on Friday.
Indeed.
I don't watch anything
Anything at all?
ever
Ever.
except Loki.
I am watching Castlevania on the side, finally. I've been telling you about it. It's
Yeah,
fun.
I
You should
know,
watch
yeah.
it.
Oh, I need to watch the.
You're telling me
most
about
recent one.
seasons that I watched like 5 years ago.
I did not say I wasn't behind.
Like, no, it's really solid. Did you watch it? Yeah, when it first came out in 2018.
I'm sitting at like an
Is
episode
that how
4.
long ago?
It's been out for a while.
Because I watched it when it first came out as well.
I got to like episode 4 with the reveal of Alucard, and I go to Andy. I'm like, wait, is this based on Castlevania 3?
Yes. 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Oh goodness.
Oh man,
It's
I'm
like,
so on board now.
Alucard's in their show. No shit.
I didn't put it together, but then I was like, wait, Alucard, girl that throws fire, Trevor Bell. This is Castlevania 3. I played this when I was a kid.
Girl who throws fire. What are you doing here, girl who throws fire?
I am Aquaman, man.
But yeah, Loki as a show, fantastic. I'm enjoying it because of the number of theories that I'm coming up with as to what I think is going to happen. I've got a really good one that I want to share with you guys. I
Share
wanna
it.
see what
It's a
you think.
theory. You can
Am
do
I
it.
allowed? Am I allowed to?
It's not a
It's
theory's not a
gotta-
spoiler
well, it's-
unless
it does
somebody
have a
told you the
spoiler.
ending.
Well, it's got a spoiler related to what they say towards the end of the show. So I won't say it just in case. I don't want
Okay.
to spoil.
All right.
But
We'll have you pop in
fantastic
for
show.
2 seconds tomorrow when Sal and I are reviewing it. You can just tell us what you think.
That it was good. Bye.
Here's Dan's theory. Dan, dialing in all the way from 2 streets over.
Yeah. You guys, I'm outside. You didn't tell me where to go for filming. Anyway, Loki, check it out. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching today's episode of Comics Experiment. Dan, what were our sponsors for today's
Our sponsors
today's
were G Fuel, where you can use code COMICS at checkout. Currently, you can get 30% off, but when it is not a special sale, you'll still save 10%. You can also check out our other sponsor.
That finally distracts you?
Well, it's also my voice is
Oh,
struggling
okay.
right now. It's like lower in the octave. You can also check out our other sponsor, Honey, where you can go to joinhoney.com/experiment. Save money when you shop online. Thank you guys so much. Also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian. Early access content. Thank you guys.
Hold
We'll
on.
catch you next
For this
time.
Comics Experiment, as a way to plug our D&D game on the other channel. Dan, who are you going to play today?
I'm Harley Quinn.
You need to talk like that all the time.
Check out Comicstorian Gaming. I'll link it down below.
If you could do that normally with your voice, you really need to. It's good.
Yeah, you like it? All right.
Your normal voice is like
It's pretty
fingernails
annoying.
on a chalkboard.
It's pretty annoying. I won't lie.
Fingernails on a chalkboard.
See you guys next time.
Bye.